Niceness is not a fruit of the Spirit. Kindness is. Nice people don't make enemies. Jesus had lots of enemies. Jesus cared about truth and righteousness more than making and keeping friends. For one thing, Jesus had no patience for unrepentant, greedy, prideful, and selfish men who took advantage of others. When he saw money changers and merchants selling animals in the temple courtyard, he of course made a whip and he drove them from the temple area and overturned their tables. That's in John chapter 2. This was not done in a fit of uncontrolled rage. Jesus didn't run through the courtyard screaming and flipping cages, which would have injured the animals inside. Instead, Jesus was totally in control. He took the time to make a cord to whip with which to herd the larger animals out of the courtyard. He overturned money-changing tables and ordered the people to take their bird cages out so the birds wouldn't be injured. And he barred them from coming back in to exploit the temple visitors. He didn't care that he was inconveniencing and offending people or messing up their business. They were the ones who were wrong for, desecrating a holy place by daring to use their wrongful business practices on humble travelers who only wanted to worship God. And he wasn't afraid to call them out and stop them. Jesus also had no patience for religious hypocrites. He criticized the Jewish religious leaders for holding on to empty traditions while ignoring their fellow human beings' very real needs. He demonstrated throughout his ministry how true religious leaders ought to behave, how they ought to care for those under their authority. Some of the things that he said to these oppressors could not be described as nice in any way. But Jesus didn't care about being nice. He cared about truth and righteousness, about waking the religious leaders up to their selfishness, their pride, their hypocrisy, and giving them a chance to repent and behave godly. At times, people can, of course, be won over with gentle words. At times, they need the truth spoken to them to help them to wake up. Jesus did both. During Jesus' 3.5 years of ministry, Jesus touched and healed, social outcasts. He defended women who were being criticized and shamed by arrogant men. He raised the dead, but he also made a lot of people mad, so much so that they eventually killed him. So from a young age, most children are taught to be nice, which includes everything from being polite, saying thank you, not asking awkward questions, don't talk about religion or politics.